What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports. What a win by the Phillies when basically halfway through the ball game. Wasn't good feelings at all. Down 4-0. Colby Allard out there on the mound can't throw strikes at all. Walks in a bases-loaded run. Then the Mets score a couple of more runs the next few innings. It's 4-0. Offense looks lifeless. They're getting diced up by Luis Severino, and then Taijuan Walker comes out into the game, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, God, they're actually going to do this, right? They're actually going to lose this series to the New York Mets. They're actually going to allow that to happen after what transpired yesterday. So yeah, that was basically the entirety of everybody's thoughts. Oh my God, they're probably going to get swept. Oh my God, are they actually going to choke the division? That's what's going through every Philadelphia fan's mind throughout the entirety of this afternoon's game. But the Phillies heard our cries. The Phillies players heard our pain, and they decided to make that pain into absolute chaos, basically. And it's all because of a few people. Taijuan Walker comes into the ballgame. No one is expecting this guy to do good whatsoever. No one is expecting Taijuan Walker to keep the Phillies involved in the game at all. The dude pitches 3 scoreless innings, and he looked pretty sharp. That wasn't expected. Bryce Harper, after going on a 28, 29, 30 game homerless drought at this point, because it's been a very long time. It's been way over a month since he last hit a home run. The man hits 2 today. 1 to the opposite field to get the Phillies on the board, and then 1 crushed at the right field with 2 outs to make it a 1-run ball game. So Bryce Harper just comes back from the dead basically there with the power. So that was nice to see. And then, again, Cal freaking Stevenson. 2 outs. 7th inning. 2 runners on. Comes up clutch. Again, double into the right field corner. Scores 2. No one was expecting that. No one. Even though he did come up clutch earlier in the week against Tampa Bay to give the Phillies, escalate that inning further in that, Tuesday win. That was fun. It really was. Wasn't really expecting him to do that twice in a week. The man does it twice in a week. And he wasn't done there. He wasn't done there. Jeff Hoffman on the mound in the top of the 8th facing J.D. Martinez to lead off. J.D. Martinez crushes at the center field to the bullpen area. Back goes Stevenson because he's in the game at this point. Back he goes. Leaps at the fence. Robs a fucking home run from J.D., which would have tied the ball game up. Are you fucking kidding me, Cal Stevenson? Are you fucking kidding me? This dude had the game of his fucking life. It was the Cal Stevenson game. That is something that you're not going to expect, or something that no one expected that's going to go into the Phillies yearbook this year. After the season, when they release that yearbook, that video yearbook that they always do, you're going to have that Cal Stevenson section right there. No one was expecting that to happen. This dude has been giving waiver claim basically throughout the entirety of baseball. Waived, DFA'd, claimed by so many other teams. Finally lands on the Phillies. He gets his chances. He's on the Major League roster getting sent up and sent back down and all that stuff. Dude gets a chance. He gets his number called, and he has been delivering lately. Good for him, man. Good for him. Nice. Solid. And that wasn't even a bad pitch that he swung at. It was a slider down and in. It was a nasty kind of pitch. It just stayed up there a little bit for Stevenson to get his bat on it and drive it into the gap. It's a good piece of hitting. JT adds an insurance run in the bottom of the 8th inning after Hoffman, basically escapes the top of the 8th thanks to Cal Stevenson. He also did hit Starling Marte with a pitch, so, Jeff Hoffman definitely wasn't the best version of himself, but he still managed to get out of that inning without allowing a run. And then Estevez, 2-run lead. He does allow a leadoff single, but he manages to retire the next 3 guys in order. All good stuff there. He gets the save. Bullpen was huge for you once again after basically the entirety first half of the game was not a good feeling. Whatever. But awesome comeback win in a game that you really needed to win because you could not lose the first 2 games to this New York Mets team, which automatically would have made you lose the series. Now, series is tied going into tomorrow. Christopher Sanchez on the mound going up against Peterson. Chance to win the series tomorrow. Division lead is back at 8 games. Win tomorrow, you can make your division lead 9. And now, the magic number to clinch the East is down to 7. So, keep lowering that number. Also, what's very important with this game, which I did bring up basically already, Bryce Harper hitting those 2 home runs. That is huge. And he's been swinging a very good bat for a while. It's just basically the power. It's basically the home run power, the lack thereof. And he has been getting very close the past few games. Hitting balls to the warning track, getting doubles that are hitting like right off the top of the wall and all that stuff. Basically going back, I would say, to the Miami series. He had a ball that went to the wall, got a double out of it. Maybe if he hit, could have went out further or something like that. And then he had a couple of those in the Tampa Bay series, especially the one that he didn't hustle on and the one where the fan just reached over the fence to grab. No, he's been getting close the past couple of games, and he's been hitting a lot of doubles. He also had a double in this game, too, the other way. So, Bryce Harper, when he's going good, he's using every part of the field. First home run goes the other way. And then, got a nice pitch that he liked. One of those similar sliders that was low and in, but stayed up just a little bit to get good contact on it. And he drove it over the fence again. That is huge for Bryce. And we all know, going back to like 2022 and all that stuff, when Bryce Harper came back from the thumb injury, after, the whole elbow surgery, the whole elbow thing where he had to be the DH basically the entirety of the season, and then he gets hit in the thumb by Blake Snell and he has to miss so many weeks. Bryce Harper really didn't have that much power when he came back, and then all of a sudden it just clicked when he got into the postseason. Maybe this is maybe this is the moment that Bryce Harper needed, because he has been getting very close. And now that it finally happened and the ball finally went over the wall a couple of times in one game even, maybe that's what Bryce just needed to get that back into rhythm, and maybe we'll see a stretch where Bryce just completely goes off, because we can definitely see that 100%, because that would be so huge for this team. It would be so huge. It would be. It would be. So that is very crucial, 100%. And yeah, Colby Allard was not good. So it's another in position where your 5th starter doesn't go out there, and he basically just couldn't throw strikes whatsoever. Every time he threw a goddamn pitch, ball would be 100 feet away from the strike zone. Walks in a run with the bases loaded, allows a couple to run the next few innings. He only lasted 3 innings in this game. But, credit where credit is due to Taijuan Walker. He deserves a bunch of credit in this game, because no one expected Taijuan Walker to come into this game and keep it close. And that's exactly what he did. Pitched 3 innings. His stuff looked pretty good. The velocity was a tad up for his norm for the past couple of years, so that's very important to see, but we don't know how long that's really going to last. But, yeah. It's funny, too. I think Taijuan Walker's best performances this year have come against the New York Mets. So can we hypnotize this man to think that every team that he faces is the New York Mets? Because it kind of feels like every time he pitches well, it's against New York, just this year in general. Because he did pitch well in London against the Mets on that Sunday game. So maybe that could be a thing. Maybe can you just hypnotize him? Can we get a hypnotist into the ballpark, into the clubhouse to, hypnotize him before every game that is his outing? And, you're playing the Mets, Taijuan. You are playing the Mets. Go out there and you're playing the Mets. You're playing the Mets. Go out there and think like every fucking batter up there in the batter's box is wearing that blue and orange with the Mets logo on there. Think about that. Think about that. So, yeah. Credit to Taijuan Walker. Credit to Taijuan Walker. I can't get enough of Cal Stevenson, man. That is just, unexpected, contributions, basically. And yeah, definitely, I would assume people were questioning why wasn't Johan Rojas in the game to play center field late, especially when you had to lead. Didn't have to question about that anymore, because Cal Stevenson tracked down that fly ball perfectly to rob the home run from J.D. Martinez. It was perfect. The ball landed right in his fucking palm. It didn't even hit the netting or the webbing of the glove. It goes right on his palm, and he makes the catch. So, Just great stuff there. A nice little standing ovation for him as well when he comes back to the dugout after making that catch. So just all around, good stuff. Fantastic finish after a first half of the game that was just basically lifeless. And you were thinking to yourself, oh, God. Oh, God. So good finish. Great overall. Just good, 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 good. Mets score 4 runs in the first 3 innings. You shut them out the rest of the way. And that credit goes to the rest of the bullpen. It goes to Taijuan Walker, who pitched 3 innings, only allowed 3 hits. No strikeouts, no walks, but did his job. Kerkering was really good. Hoffman, like I said, he got away with things, definitely. He only threw 9 pitches, but, Cal Stevenson robbing the home run definitely helps. And then Estevez, he allowed the leadoff hit in the 9th, but still got the save where it was important. Phillies had 8 hits on the board today. Kyle Schwarber and Trey Turner both go over 3 with walks. Bryce Harper with the 2 home runs. He has 3 RBIs on the day. Nick Castellanos 1 for 4. Bryson Stott 1 for 4. JT 2 for 4 with that 8th inning RBI. Brandon Marsh, he went over 3. And also think about this. Brandon Marsh, if it wasn't for his bunt, who was on base, I think it was JT and Bryson Stott were on base, even though Cal Stevenson double into the gap would have scored both of them regardless. But still, Brandon Marsh, moving runners on, playing small ball and all that stuff. Weston Wilson didn't really have a good at bat. He stared at one right down the middle of the plate, but, Cal Stevenson. That's all that matters at the end of the day. He went 2 for 3 with those 2 RBIs. Cody Clemens, he went over 2 before Weston Wilson came in and struck out in that one at bat. Phillies, they went 1 for 4 with 4 runners left on base, with runners in scoring position in totality. So overall, it was just a pretty good game. Pretty good game to finish it, basically. Mets, they had 9 hits. So Francisco Lindor didn't end up playing in this game. They called up Acuna's brother from AAA, and he had himself 2 hits. I believe this is his major league debut. Iglesias went 2 for 5. Vientos went 2 for 5. Nimmo went 1 for 5. Pete Alonso went over 3 with a walk. JD went over 3 with a walk. Starling Marte went 2 for 2 with 3 RBI. Francisco Alvarez went over 4. Bader went over 3. Winker came in the pinch hit against Hoffman. He, honestly, the Jesse Winker swing, I thought that was going over the fence, but the ball just died in center field. So maybe he got the end of the bat on that. And then Acuna went 2 for 4. I believe that was his major league debut. And also for Alvarez, he had a couple of chances with runners on. The dude just swung at the first pitch every time and popped up. So that was huge in that position for the Phillies' perspective. Yeah. And if you are looking at around the league right now, specifically to the Braves and the Dodgers series, Braves are up 1-0 against LA, and the Braves did win last night. So technically that helps with our league standings and the bye week positioning and all that stuff, but it doesn't help in terms of clinching the postseason berth. So the Braves are not helping in that perspective. And there's also some huge news in terms of the Dodgers and their pitching staff. Once again, Tyler Glass now, it looks like he has a shoulder injury or something like that, and it doesn't sound like he's going to be returning for the rest of the season. So another hit to that Dodgers rotation. It's just a place where they've been injured basically the entire season. So that's just crazy right there. And if you're just going throughout this game, looking at that top of the first inning where Allard really struggled, he struck out 2 people. He struck out Vientos and Nimmo. They get 2 outs in the top of the first, but then, he walks Alonso, walks Martinez to load the bases, walks Marte. I want to see some of these pitch sequences too. Alonso, he walked on 5 pitches. JD Martinez, he walked on 6. And then Starling Marte, he walked on 6 pitches. But thankfully for Alvarez, he flew out on the first pitch. Then the Phillies, they got struck out the side in the bottom of the first. So that was, not the brightest start to the day. Top of the 3rd inning, Vientos with the leadoff double, Nimmo with the single. So you got 1st and 3rd to start the inning. Vientos scored on an error, which was a play, I believe, by Cody Clemens at 3rd. Throws it past Bryce Harper, even though it's a ball that Bryce Harper should be able to scoop over at first base. So a run scores because of that. Then Marte tripled, which scored 2 runs to make it 4-0. You were just not feeling good in that moment. No fan in Philadelphia was feeling good at that moment after the 3rd. So Taijuan Walker comes in, gets a double play, allows a couple of base runners, unscathed there. Bottom 4, that's when Bryce Harper hits the solo shot to get the Phillies on the board. Top 5, after a 2-out single by Marte. No damage basically there allowed by Taijuan Walker. Then he gets a 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th. His night would be done from there. Bottom of the 6th, Phillies with 2 outs. Trey Turner works a huge walk. Went up 0-3 in the count. Got it back to 3-2 from the pitching perspective. Worked out a walk in that position. And then Bryce Harper worked an at bat. It was a 3-2 count. Fouled off a pitch. Got a pitch that he liked, and crushed it over the stands. Made it a 1-run game. Kirkering a 1-2-3 in the top of the 7th inning, and then the Phillies, they did their work in the bottom of the 7th. Stott and JT lead off with singles. Brandon Marsh, he gets the bunt that moves the runners over to second and third, and then Garrett comes out of the bullpen for the Mets, strikes out Weston Wilson, and then Stevenson works a very long at bat. It was a 3-2 count, if I'm not mistaken. Doubles down the right field line, off the wall, scores those 2 runs. So nice stuff there. Schwarber did walk on 5 pitches, but Trace Turner struck out with a 3-2 count. So that, honestly, if he got on base, it could have been bases loaded for Bryce Harper, and who knows what Bryce Harper would have done in that position. So that definitely is a opportunity wasted, but you took the lead, so that's all important at the end of the day. Top 8, Jeff Hoffman on the mound. We all know Stevenson robbed that home run from JD. And then Hoffman allowed a base runner, but basically got out of that unscathed. Bottom 8, JT Realmuto with 2 outs. Drives in that insurance run, which is nice. Drove in Castellanos from first base. And then Estevez, after the leadoff single, gets the job done. Gets the save. All important right there. So we do have a voicemail here on the Anytime Hotline. And we can also go to some highlights from today's game, specifically, all the good stuff. All the good stuff. So let's get things started with Bryce Harper's first home run in as over a month at this point. Let's hear it.
Harper swings, hits one in the air to left, pretty deep. Nimmo looking up, and that ball is gone, and the drought is over for Bryce Harper. And the Phillies are on the board. Harper's 27th of the season. 30 games without, but Harper with a home run today, and it's 4-1.
Jeez, 30. He went 30 games without a homer. Jesus Christ. It felt longer than that, honestly. Felt longer than that. But when was, before tonight, when was his, I think his last home run was in Arizona in that 4-game series where they lost 3 of 4. I think that was his last home run, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, it's been quite a while since Bryce hit one. And when he finally hit one, he hits another one. Let's go to the second home run. That made it a 1-run ball game.
And here it comes. It swung on, hit deep right field, and that one is going to make it a 1-run game. Bryce Harper delivers his second home run of the afternoon. A 2-run shot, number 28. It's a 4-3 Mets lead.
Beautiful stuff there, boys. Now let's get to Cal Stevenson's go-ahead double in the 7th.
2 on the way. He swings and drives it down to the right field corner, and that ball is off the wall, and the Phillies have the lead. Stevenson racing around second. He'll put the brakes on there. Throws his hands in the air, and Stevenson has given the Phillies a 5-4 lead.
Now let's go to his home run robbery in the 8th. Because honestly, my heart sank because of this. And it's funny, I was watching this game because I was out all day basically with the parents. And we were at PJ Willihan's basically watching the entirety of the game after, I think we got there in I think it was right around the 3rd inning when the Mets made it 4-0. That's when we got there. So we basically saw the entirety of the end of the game. So when this happened, I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, my God. Heart sank, and everyone in the restaurants felt the same way, honestly. Big sigh of relief when that happened, too. So let's get to the call.
The pitch swung on, hit high in the air, center field. It's deep. Cal Stevenson back at the track, at the wall. He leaps. Oh, it's the Cal Stevenson game. Are you kidding me? The pitch swung on, hit high in the air, center field. It's deep. Cal Stevenson back at the track, at the wall. He leaps. Oh, it's the Cal Stevenson game. Are you kidding me?
It's a great call by Fransky right there. Now let's get to a JT Realmuto's insurance run in the bottom of the 8th.
I was talking to goes, okay, so here are my thoughts on the Phillies that we got going on, guys.
There's a liner towards the angled wall in center. Castellanos racing around third. He's going to be waved home, and JT with an RBI double tacks on an extra run, and the Phillies now lead it 6-4.
Love it. Now let's get to the final out here by Estevez.
On the way. Ground ball past Estevez, but Turner has it. Throws to first, and the ball game's over. And what a comeback today for the Phillies. Down 4 early, but they rally to win it 6-4.
Some great calls today by Scott Fransky, who was on the TV broadcast. I think during the weekends, especially at this point in the year, that's when T-Mac starts doing the some NFL games for CBS. So that's probably why Fransky is always on the weekend broadcast in the month of September. So, good stuff. Good stuff overall. I do want to see if there's anything, because I know there is a post-gamer from Bryce Harper that John Foley posted the full thing of. So I do want to get to that as well. So let me get to that. Bring up what Bryce felt there, because I do see a comment in the live chat asking about Bryce. Yuki Matsui says, "What's wrong with Bryce? He swung and grimaced, looked like it was a wrist injury." So Bryce has been dealing with that for a while. Basically, he admitted that like a couple of weeks ago that he's been dealing with like elbow and wrist soreness, and they don't know what the cause is. I guess it's just gradual soreness or everything like that. So that's just something that he's gonna have to deal with. He says it hurts more when it swings and misses. When he makes contact with the ball, he feels fine. So it's nothing that's going to damage his arm or wrist. So it's something that he can play through. And they already said that it's nothing that rest can solve. So you just got to play through it at this point. So it's nothing that's going to really do any more damage. So, and they said that doctors already confirmed that if you're playing it, you're not going to damage it anymore. So, like I said, I think they keep saying it when he swings and misses at a pitch, that's when it hurts more. So it's always going to look like that, I guess, until it feels better. So there's nothing like structurally wrong with Bryce to where he can't play. This is something that it's playable through. So let's get the Bryce Harper postgame, see what he has to say.
Do you just strive to savor those kind of moments, so try to get a team back in there?
Yeah, it's fun. I think I thought Ty kept us in it, and once we got on the board, we kind of had some good at bats on him, and I thought Sevy threw the ball well also today. Obviously got 2 pitches I could handle, and was able to get the job done, and big at bat by Cal right there as well. Huge takeaway on the homer as well. Big run there in the 9th with JT. So I just think all around, I thought we battled. Thought it was a really good team win today.
How important was a game like this when you had a tough one last night? You're down early in this one, knowing that the Mets could pull within 6, and now suddenly it's a couple of about two game swing, and you kind of have you get a game like this.
Yeah, it's a good win. As a team, I think it's a big win. Obviously, I mean that's a good team over there right now. They're playing really well. So good to be able to get that win today.
What's been your impression so far of Cal and just the guys from AAA who've come up pretty impactful all week?
Yeah, I mean, I said to him today, I said to Buddy the other day, if you can take those at-bats in that situation, you can take any at-bat in your career. I mean, in that moment, 40,000 people, or 40,000 plus people, big situation, big moment. I think that's why we rely so heavy on our young guys, because we know, in guys like that, because we know that they can come through and they can live that situation and get it done. Just really huge at bat by him. I don't think the moment was too big at all, and he got the job done.
Nice to get the innings you got from Taiwan to kind of keep it right where it was, and you guys come back there.
Yeah, it was great. I think him to be able to, like you said, come out of there, get the job done for us, and keep us in that situation. That was really good stuff out of him today.
You said the other day that I think you couldn't believe one of those balls didn't get out, and you've never seen some balls like stay in the yard that you've been hitting. It's good to kind of get off the schneid there and just see a couple go over the fence.
I mean, I'd go another 200 at bats or 100 at bats with that one. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, I'm having good at bats, we're winning games. I mean, obviously I want to hit homers, but I'll take the doubles, I'll take the singles. Anytime we can win a game, that's what matters most.
You took it at 2-2, like, I think it was a sweeper. Was that an example of a good take before that?
2-2 sweeper.
I think it was a sweeper, right, in the 6th inning. It was a pitch down.
Oh yeah, 2-2. Got to 3-2. I thought I read it, ball out of the hand right there. I thought the one prior to that, the foul ball, thought it was a really good pitch. Was able to stay on it and foul it off, and then get into kind of that deep count. Felt like a good atmosphere. Felt like a playoff atmosphere. Felt like a big at bat, big situation. And I love that, so it was good.
In the last month, you've had the Braves and the Mets coming at you. How much does the experience of this team help you guys just to kind of take those challenges and just keep going and keep moving forward?
Yeah, we just got to win. I mean, that's the biggest thing. We want to win. We got we got a lot of goals on our mind, obviously. We want to have the best record in baseball in the National League as well. And we want home field advantage. We want to win the division. I mean, those are all things that we're possibly able to do. So we want to keep that going. The Mets are playing great baseball right now. The Braves as well. I mean, those are two really good teams. So we're far from done, far from over. So just got to keep playing our game.
That's exactly right there, Bryce. Exactly right. Basically there. So we also do have a voicemail here on the Anytime Hotline. Let's get to that. Let's get to Sean. See what he has to say about this Phillies win.
Well, it's your day when Taijuan Walker is an integral part of the comeback. That's a huge win by the Phillies. And, through the first game yesterday and early in this one, I mean, they weren't showing a lot of heart. There was no fight. There was no pushback. I'm glad to see the Phillies said, screw this. We got to get back in this shit. And Harper's home runs, got the ball rolling. And let's give it up for Cal Stevenson. That's 2 big pinch hits in the last week or so. I don't know if the kid's going to be on the postseason roster, but, I mean, our bench has been pretty putrid. So glad to see him step up again. But you got to win tomorrow. I mean, do not let the Mets come in and take 2 out of 3. You want to send them out 1 game worse than they were coming in. The starting pitching has to be better. Hopefully a win like this coming off the deck, couple standing 8 counts, almost ready to throw the towel in. Hopefully this motivates them and gets them fired up to go get the series win tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it better fire them up. If this doesn't fire them up, I have a lot of questions. I would have a lot of questions if it doesn't fire them up. But yeah, starting pitching 100% has to be better. Really, yeah. Like I know we're going with Allard right here, and he has been like. This is why I said coming into today's game, the offense really needed to step up because you really can't rely on Allard, even though he has been solid in his past couple of outings in the major leagues for the Phils. But that's something that you really can't rely on consistently with right there. That's why the offense needed to find a way to break through. And thankfully they did, but it wasn't with Allard on the mound. It was with Taijuan Walker and the rest of the bullpen on the mound. So gradually they eventually did. Aaron Nola, what he did yesterday just can't happen. That just can't happen. The offense was putrid in itself as well, but Aaron Nola, when you're no-hitting a team going into the 5th inning, you just can't blow up like that and allow 2 3-run bombs to basically make the game out of reach. You still got to keep your team involved. And that's what Taijuan Walker, surprisingly, did today. Harper gets the home run to get you on the board. You're feeling good about yourselves. He still goes out there, throws some scoreless innings for you. And then your offense feels some confident. They start feeling themselves, and they start getting to the pitching of the Mets. And that's the important part right there. Bend, don't break from the pitching, and that's what Aaron Nola didn't do yesterday, but the bullpen did today, specifically from Walker. That really helped, and the back end of the bullpen did their job. That's what they've been doing for a while at this point. And now it's, up to Christopher Sanchez to continue to do what he's been doing at Citizens Bank Park, and that's pitch very well. So we really need Christopher Sanchez to have a good outing tomorrow because our starting pitching, lately, specifically from the Nola standpoint, has not been good. It's really, Zach Wheeler that goes out there. Because right now there's no faith in Ranger Suarez with the way that he is. Aaron Nola's numbers in September, just career-wise, have not been good. I just don't know what it is, but for some reason, when that calendar flips to September, it's just a different Aaron Nola that is not pretty to watch. So we're going to see what happens with Nola on his next start. I still trust him to the extent, but it's basically that version of Aaron Nola. It's just very frustrating when that version comes out. Like I said with the Ranger, you just can't trust him right now with the way, and the injury and all that stuff. He just doesn't look like he's in the right spot right now. And the 5th guy in the rotation, it's basically a coin flip. It's not guaranteed who's going to pitch every 5th day. And basically every time that someone that's gone into that position, they have not done well. Really, it's just the only person to really do well in that role was Spencer Turnbull. And he really isn't coming back this year, so that's a bummer. That's a real bummer there. They really screwed up that situation. But also there is some positive things in terms of injury news. So we all know that Edmundo Sosa and Alec Bohm went down to AA, I believe, for rehab assignments. It was AA or AAA. It was one of the two. But Alec Boehm, he started today, and he had a couple of good hacks today, if I'm not mistaken. So I want to find that. So, Alec Boehm so far. So this was like a couple of hours into the Phillies game. This was around 5:15 when this was posted. This was from Mitch Rupert. Alec Boehm's second rehab at bat is a double in the center. He is 2 for 2 today for the Iron Pigs with exit velos of 102 and 102.1 and 102.9. So that is good for Boehm to see. I think he is doing another rehab game tomorrow as a DH. So that is definitely good that he's feeling good at the plate right there. So Edmundo Sosa, I have no idea what's going on with him. I know he's in the rehab games as well, but I think they're just really pointing out Alec Boehm's stats. So if Alec Boehm does good, they're saying that he could be reactivated for the first game of the Brewers series, so that'll be a very much needed help for this lineup. So thankfully he looks good down there in the first two at-bats. How did he finish for today's game, actually? I want to see that. Alec Boehm. I want to see what he did for today in his rehab game. See what he did. What did he do for his rehab assignment today? Can I go to game log? Game logs. Today. So okay, I guess I got a MILB or the minors or something like that. Minors. Regular season, career. Can I do splits or something like that? I guess it's not going to show is MILB stats or something like that. Is it not going to do that? Okay, minors 2024 20. Yep, here we go. So he went 2 for 4 today. He went 2 for 4 with a single and a double. So good stuff there for Bummer. And he had good exit velo, so that's really good there. So we'll see what he does tomorrow. And that's basically all that I got right here. Not much else that I see from the Twitterverse. And if we're looking more just at out-of-town scores, right now it is the bottom of the third with the Dodgers and the Braves, and it is currently 1-1. The Braves have 2 runners on first and third with 2 outs, so we'll see what happens there for the rest of the day. And with the Brewers and the Diamondbacks, I believe the Brewers won last night 2-1, so there really nothing changes in that perspective. But if we look at the standings right now, just to get a whole glimpse of everything, we're 8 games up on the Mets, 8.5 up on the Braves, and if the Braves win, they tie with the Mets right now. And to the league standings, we are now 1.5 games above the Dodgers, so that technically did help us in that perspective, and we're still 3.5 above the Brewers. And if the Brewers win today, that'll go back to 3 games or something like that. So right now, there is a little bit of breathing room right there. So you just got to keep winning. That is the most important thing. Keep winning. So yeah, keep winning. That is the summary right there. Keep winning. So got to some of you guys here, not many of you in the chat, but I still appreciate it whatsoever. Michael, how you doing? Yep, Cal freaking Stevenson. There is no better things than a comeback win where you're basically dead in the water and you still found a way to get a dub. Yeah, those are always fun. Yuki, I already saw your comment with the Bryce Harper thing. Yeah, basically Bryce Harper, he admitted to playing with, a sore elbow and a sore shoulder and a sore wrist. So that's just something that he's going to be dealing with for who knows how long until it just heals up. It's something that he can play through, though, so it's not limiting him to not playing. Yep, solid. Yep, great to see Harper. See him at least do that 4 times since he first sustained the injury. I don't think there needs to be any more concern about Bryce. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is something Bryce has been dealing with a little bit, and they already said that team doctors already said you're not going to worsen it by playing. So it's nothing that sitting for a couple of days is going to fix it, and it's not going to get worse if you keep playing with it. So if he's going to get a couple of swings and misses, and you're going to see him grimacing a little bit. So that's basically it there. So yeah, that's basically it for today, boys. Go win by the Phils. Got to win tomorrow. That is basically the thing right there. In the pitching matchup for tomorrow, that is going to be Christopher Sanchez going up against David Peterson. And David Peterson has been very good for the Mets. Basically, I would say since, getting slotted back in from the injured list, he is 9-2 on 9-2 on the season with a 2.98 ERA, a WHIP of 1.35. Looking at his, games logs overall, had a really good month of June, had a solid month of July, really good month of August. That's where he was really good there. And then so far in the month of September, he's had a good game and he's had a bad game. So we'll see what happens at that point. But he was winning a lot of games early on, and he wasn't really the cause of those losses either. So basically, if I'm looking at his entire game logs, he's only allowed 4 earned runs in a game 3 times this year. It's either been 3 earned runs or less. So that's he's been going really well. But his last start against the Toronto Blue Jays, 4 1/3, 4 earned runs, 5 runs total. So we'll see if the Phillies can catch him on a bad stretch there. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it's basically it. That's basically it there. Looks like the Braves have bases loaded with 2 outs. Still 1-1 game, but we'll see what happens there. In terms of the Tyler Glasnow situation, before we end it off, I actually want to see the entire injury report on him just to know what the full thing is. So, yep, he has a sprained elbow, and Dave Roberts announced he is highly unlikely to return this season. That is a bummer. That is a huge hit to the Dodgers rotation. He stayed pretty much healthy all year, and he's finally got the injury that everyone was fearing. So Christopher Sanchez's career against the Mets, he is 1-2 with an ERA of 4.26 and 27 strikeouts in 7 career appearances against the Mets. Well, that's going to change tomorrow when he goes 7 scoreless. That is going to change tomorrow. Miguel, how you doing? Diehard Mets fan here. Great win for you guys. That's baseball. No excuses. Let's go Mets. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. See, I even said this yesterday. A majority of the Mets fans that come into my chats are really respectful, so I appreciate that. It's more the Braves fans that are kind of assholes. So, kind of a 180 there, if all things considered. So, welcome to the channel, Miguel. Hope you stay for a long time. Hopefully you're a subscriber. Definitely hit that subscribe button. Good stuff here if you want to hear the Philadelphia fan perspective from all things. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. And I think that's going to do it for tonight, everybody. Hopefully everyone enjoys the rest of their Saturday. We'll be back tomorrow after whatever happens in tomorrow night's game. Well, tomorrow afternoon's game, actually. So definitely stay tuned for that recap and everything there. So this is definitely going to be a weird week. So we got Phillies tomorrow, obviously. And then Monday's going to be weird because it's Phillies, Brewers, and then Monday Night Football, Eagles, Falcons. So that definitely is going to be weird in terms of priority sets right there, because the Phillies game obviously will be very important. It's a very crucial series against the Milwaukee Brewers, but the Eagles are going to have to take the priority because it's the Eagles. So we're definitely going to have to figure out a way to work around that. I think for the Eagles game, I'll definitely do a watch party for that. So definitely look for that in your subscription feed. And then basically it's Phillies the entire week, because this week is going to be a little bit busy in terms of everyday streams and all that stuff. But then it's next week where the Phillies, the final 2 series of the year, where they play the Cubs and the Nationals, I won't be home for 4 of those games. I'm actually going on vacation to Florida. So that's something we'll talk about when we get closer to that date. I am planning stuff to be put out here on the channel on those 4 days that I'm not home. So like I said, it's something that we'll get closer and closer towards, and we'll talk about that further when we get near that time. So definitely just something that I wanted to bring up for you guys to know there. But yeah, as for tonight, appreciate you guys for tuning in. The Braves just took a 4-1 lead in the bottom of the 3rd, so we'll see how that goes there. But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Do not forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. Also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek, guys. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Thank you once again for joining tonight. Love every single one of you.